What if a name inside the Epstein files wasn't just listed, but specially marked? When thousands of names were released in connection to Jeffrey Epstein, most people assumed they were simply contact entries. But investigators have revealed something far more serious. Not every name in Epstein's infamous Black Book was treated the same. Only a small percentage, roughly 5 to 10%, were circled or boxed. Those markings were not random. According to sworn testimony, circled names were considered significant. They were individuals investigators would prioritize questioning if conducting a criminal probe. One of those circled names was Courtney Love. For years, speculation surrounded whether Love had any meaningful connection to Epstein. At the time, much of the discussion was brushed off as rumor, but newly reviewed documents add context that is difficult to ignore. Her name was not simply written down among thousands of contacts, it was marked in a way that separated her from the majority. Investigators testified that marked names typically indicated closer relevance to Epstein's operations. In other cases, those circled included confirmed associates, recruiters, and individuals later identified as directly involved in trafficking activities. This does not automatically establish guilt. However, it does establish investigative interest. And in a case as serious as Epstein's, investigative interest carries weight. When news first surfaced that Love's contact information appeared in Epstein's Black Book, she publicly denied knowing him. She described him as a creep and insisted she had never met him. The denial was firm and absolute, but subsequent evidence suggests contact may have existed. Documents indicate that she had access to Epstein's properties, including references connected to his private island. That detail stands in contrast to her earlier public statements. Many celebrities acknowledged attending events where Epstein was present. Some claimed limited interaction, but complete denial when records suggest otherwise raises questions. Why deny any association at all? There is also a widely circulated photograph of Love alongside Prince Andrew, a figure whose own connection to Epstein has been heavily scrutinized. In the image, the interaction does not appear casual. Andrew seems engaged in focused conversation, holding what appears to be paper or notes. Love herself has previously described encounters where Andrew asked about parties and where young women could be found. Reports indicate that Epstein introduced them. That places her inside the broader social circle that revolved around Epstein's world, a network built on influence, access, and secrecy. Over the years, Love has also spoken publicly about experiences in international sex industry environments, including time spent in Japan. In interviews and podcasts, she described situations involving young women losing passports and becoming trapped. While framed as observation, those accounts demonstrate familiarity with circumstances often associated with trafficking and coercion. Patterns matter. When reviewing large investigations, authorities look for recurring intersections, shared environments, repeated associations, overlapping networks. The Epstein case is widely considered one of the largest trafficking investigations in modern history. It involved financiers, royalty, celebrities, academics, and political figures. Power and protection were deeply embedded in its structure. Love's name appearing as a circled contact inside that ecosystem does not deliver a verdict, but it does demand scrutiny. Another notable development is timing. As additional Epstein-related documents continue to surface publicly, Love has advanced plans for a major documentary project centered on her own life and legacy. High-end documentary productions require substantial financial investment. Production crews, legal oversight, editing teams, distribution negotiations. When negative headlines intensify and a polished personal narrative project emerges simultaneously, observers often question whether image management is underway. It may be coincidence, or it may be strategy. The central issue remains straightforward. If contact occurred, why deny it entirely? In high-profile investigations, total denial often attracts more attention than limited acknowledgement. Public figures frequently admit attending events without claiming deeper involvement. But when someone erases all connection despite documented contact entries, investigators take notice. The Epstein document releases were not carefully organized. Thousands of pages were released in bulk, making it difficult for the public to connect details. When information is scattered and overwhelming, attention fades. That benefits institutions. It discourages deep analysis. It relies on fatigue. But buried within those pages are indicators, markings, testimony, categorization that suggest certain names held greater relevance. Courtney Love's was one of them. As more files are reviewed, additional context may emerge. Each document adds another piece to a larger puzzle involving money, influence, silence, and access. The Epstein network was not built overnight, and it did not function alone. It depended on social facilitators, connections, and individuals who moved comfortably within elite circles. This story is no longer about rumor. It is about documented records, sworn testimony, and investigative markers that point towards significance. And this is only the beginning. As more Epstein-related documents continue to surface, one truth becomes impossible to ignore. This case was never about just one man. It was about a network, a system built on wealth, access, silence, and protection. Every new file adds another layer. Every marked name raises another question, and every denial, when contrasted with documented records, demands closer examination. Courtney Love's name appearing as a circled contact does not automatically determine guilt, but it does establish relevance, and inside Epstein's world, relevance was never random. People were marked for a reason. Connections existed for a reason. Lies were told for a reason. Powerful systems survive on distraction. They rely on public fatigue. They depend on the next headline replacing the last one. When information is dumped in overwhelming volumes, most people stop looking. That is how networks remain protected, not through secrecy alone, but through confusion. But records do not disappear just because attention shifts. The Epstein investigation is still unfolding. More names are being analyzed, more testimony is being reviewed, more connections are surfacing. And the deeper researchers go, the clearer it becomes that this story reaches far beyond what the public has fully seen. The real question is not whether another name will appear, it's how many more already have. If you want the truth without the noise, if you want the documents examined, the patterns followed, and the uncomfortable questions asked, stay with World Dark Files. Subscribe now, share this video, keep the conversation alive. Because the darkest systems only survive when no one is watching. And here, we keep watching.